actually want to do some predictions. I think it's kind of fun now that free agency is a week in to just kind of sort of read the tea leaves of what the Niners could do. So let's start in round one. Where do we think this is headed at pick 12? You could say a position, a trade up, a trade, whatever you want to say.
So I'm going to say two positions.
Okay, let's do that.
Positions.
Okay.
I'm going to say two positions. Okay. I'm going to say it's going to be cornerback or quarterback. It's going to be one of those two. Because this is the offseason. The Niners have nobody at cornerback. Like,
say it again.
Even if Jason Verrett, corner or quarterback.
Okay.
One of the two backs, corner or quarter.
Yeah.
The edge, to me, I've looked at some of the edge rushers in this draft. I haven't really gone into it and checked them all out. But I don't think there's an edge rusher that's worth taking at pick 12. No way. I don't think so. Okay. With the corners, I'm not even necessarily sure there's a corner that you should definitely take at 12. I don't know if I feel that way. I definitely feel that I wouldn't take Patrick Surtain at 12. I'm confident about that one. I haven't watched Farley enough, and I'm still getting into Horn, but I think those are the three. But basically, I'll say that I'm confident you don't take Surtain at 12. But the thing with the corner or quarterback is that the cornerback position. Here's the problem: even if Jason Verrett balls out this year, this is not a this year move. This is you need a guy to be your number one corner next year. And Jason Verrett, if he balls out, you're not going to sign him because he's going to get $10 to $12 million somewhere. I can't reiterate this enough. Last year, Jason Verrett did not play like a corner that deserves to be paid $5.5 million this year with up to 6.5. He played like a corner that deserves to be paid $10 to $12 million. There's a massive difference between that. The Niners, because of the COVID-19, because of his injury situation, because basically there's only like 10 teams competing in free agency because the rest of the teams can't do anything because of their cap situations, besides maybe restructure someone to retain their own players. Because of that, the Niners were able to bring him back on a bargain, which was a massive move. But they're not going to be able to get him back again, or at least I'm not going to bet against Parag. That's my guy. But he's not actually my guy. I just like Parag. But I'm not going to bet against him. But realistically, he's not going to come back. So you need a plan A at the number one corner position. And then the other thing is just quarterback. And I think the thing with quarterback is that you just don't know how the board's going to play yet. So you can't go into that draft saying we're going to take a quarterback when you're picking pick 12. The Jets can do that. The Jaguars can do that. The Dolphins can do that if they want to. The Niners can't. You're picking pick 12. You don't know which quarterbacks are going to be there. You don't know which ones are going to fall. You don't know if somebody falls, whether you can go up and get him because another team who originally would like to trade with you might now have a player that fell to them that they would like. So I think that it's going to be corner or quarterback, and it's all going to depend on the way the board falls.
All right. Look, I agree with you that those are positions the Niners should be targeting. I just have a feeling they won't, and I'm usually wrong. Full disclosure, usually wrong. But
you are?
Yeah. Cornerback, the Niners haven't done that in so long. I almost feel like it's an organizational thing to not take a corner in the first round at least. But I have nothing to base that on other than past precedent. So there's that. And there's the fact that all these signings of older players, all these 30-year-olds on one deals, I just feel like at least either starting a rookie quarterback or not spending a first-round pick on a player who can contribute right away. I mean, the Packers did it last year, and you can do it. Teams do it. I just have a feeling the Niners won't. And I don't know what to base that on. I'm just guessing. So I'm thinking based on precedent, it'll be a D end. Of course, it won't be a 12. They'll probably have to trade down, but D end because you don't know what you're going to get even from Nick Bosa.
So the thing with D end is I just think that the investing in that position after you just paid Ebukam and you're maybe waiting on D Ford and Nick Bosa is still, in my opinion, the best player on your team, it just makes no sense. Like, this is the year to take your corner. This is the year. I think this is the year to invest in your secondary, actually, because in the first three rounds, I think we're going to talk about the second round, aren't we? Are we going to talk about the second round?
We are. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I just want to do a baseline. In these first three rounds, I think they need to go corner and safety with either order in those first three rounds because Jimmy Ward, after this year, 2021, will have one more year on his deal. Jaquaski Tart, if things go right, is going to get a big contract somewhere because they're that good players. You need somebody that's going to step in. It's not Tarberius Moore, that pick. He's got talent, but hasn't refined. He's not polished enough to play there yet. It's Marcel Harris is a good backup. He's not a starting safety. So you need a guy and you have the ultimate luxury where you don't need a guy that needs to play today. The guy just needs to come in and be ready to play next year. So there you need that. And then same thing with corner. Emmanuel Mosley, Jason Verrett can get the job done next year. You don't need whoever you pick, even if he's a high pick, to play next year. You just need him to play the year after when the corner position becomes a thing. So I think those are the two positions that they would need to invest with a premium player in one of the first 3 rounds.
All right, let's just hit a couple of these questions first, and then we'll get to round 2. Trey G says, why didn't the Niners restructure Jimmy's contract? It's not like he's lived up to it. Round 1, have to be a cornerback. Well, Vish agrees with the second part. The part with restructuring, it means you really have to like the guy like long term, and I don't think the Niners are exactly there.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's why. See, I'm not a Jimmy Garoppolo hater. I'm a 49ers fan first. I'm not like Grant. Grant relinquished fandom 15 years ago. I'm still a fan, so I like Jimmy Garoppolo. I've seen the results that. Oh, he relinquished fandom like 10 years ago.
Yeah, you're right.
But so I like the results when he's on the field, but you also have to put your analyst hat on and evaluate him for what he is and be realistic about it. And look, if the 49ers were restructuring his contract and telling you that they weren't searching for an upgrade and not flirting with every quarterback available, we wouldn't be having this topic daily. But because the Niners keep telling you that this is a topic, you have to be honest with what he is and try and Grant's job is to speculate why they keep having those questions. And why they keep having those questions are right in front of you. And you have to be honest with that. And that's why they haven't touched his contract. That's the reality. Regardless of whether they say he's the starter, I'm sure they like him enough to keep him as the starter next year. They're not viewing him as 100% the guy of the future, because otherwise they would have just touched his contract, now restructured it.
Yeah. Tony asks, can we approximate Kinlaw for Buckner? Who has a higher ceiling, Kinlaw or Vita Vea? Can Kinlaw be to the Niners what Vita Vea is to the Bucs? What do you think?
Okay, I think Kinlaw's projection could be similar to Vita Vea. If you remember, Vita Vea was not a very good player as a rookie. People were killing the Bucs for taking Vita Vea over Derwin James when safety was a massive need and Derwin went crazy. I think Kinlaw's trajectory could be similar to Vita Vea in terms of year 2, year 3. He starts getting much, much better and starts really understanding how to use his special physical gifts. Will he ever be DeForest Buckner? I don't think he'll ever be that polished. I mean, I think DeForest Buckner, maybe there will be some players who think that Javon Kinlaw is better than DeForest Buckner because he's going to do some things better in this scheme than DeForest Buckner. He's going to be a better run defender in this scheme than DeForest Buckner, especially if they play the wide 9, because he's just a mammoth human being who eats up double teams like he's grabbing 2 little children and throwing them around. So he's really good that way. I don't think Vea is exactly a comparison, but I think Vea's growth and trajectory within the league is a good outlook for Kinlaw. Maybe he'd never reach the ceiling Vea reached this year, but I think he's going to be a damn good player. And he doesn't have to be DeForest Buckner, right? If the 49ers are able to get him to a second contract and it's not $20 million like DeForest Buckner, instead it's 10 to 12, that means Javon Kinlaw is a good pick. And in terms of value for who they had to sign at the time, it just makes sense.
Well, I think he's always going to be compared to Buckner and to Tristan Wirfs. He's got to come close to those two, I would imagine. But I'm looking at the thing about Vita Vea is he's not necessarily a pass rusher, but he's so special. He's like the most athletic big guy in the league. Right. When he came out, I had coaches telling me like, this guy, I've never seen a guy at this size.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
350, and I think he probably does a little better than Kinlaw does at 325. So that might be a little ambitious, but he doesn't have to be that good. Vita Vea is great. I think that guy's all
when he plays, he's dominant.
He missed like 11 games last year. Big Boys Climbing on Big Ring says, our only option is to draft a cornerback and run it with Jimmy. And in 2022, cut Jimmy and pay Fred and Bosa. We have no options now, missed on Stafford. Well, I mean, you can always see what happens with Watson. Maybe he'll get exonerated. Maybe it's all nothing. Who knows?
That's one option to look at. And I don't think drafting a QB is a bad option. The rookie quarterback flexibility is the ultimate gift in the NFL. The new wage scale has allowed teams to build stack rosters with the rookie quarterback. Like the Niners, the moment they take a rookie quarterback, Grant's question about this being a win now team would go away, because even when they pay Fred Warner and Nick Bosa and stuff, their window will be those 4 years. It's just about taking the right rookie quarterback. That's all.
Quest for Six says, I want Surtain or Waddle at 12. Niners will trade back, take Ojulari. He is D Ford, size, speed, fast, strong hands. Watch Peach Bowl. He also go up front. I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to trade down for Ojulari just based on past precedent. But what do you think? I know you don't like Surtain at 12. I don't like Surtain at 12. What do you think of Waddle?
I like Waddle a lot. This is the closest thing to Tyreek Hill I've ever seen. Like every speed guy gets compared to Tyreek Hill because of straight line speed, but this is the guy with the agility, the explosion, the acceleration, the ability to, the toughness with the ball in his hands. He's special to me. He's way better than Ruggs from last year. And that's no knock against Ruggs. I liked Ruggs, but I really like Jalen Waddle. But I like when you say they're going to trade down for Ojulari, I really think this team thinks they have a massive diamond in the rough with Samson Ebukam. And I think they got a big time player at 26 years old. I think they're very excited about him. That's just my guess. And so for that reason, I just don't see a scenario
where can't have enough edge rushers, Vish. No, I'm with they shouldn't. I wouldn't advise them to take a defensive end. I just think they can't help themselves. But you bring up all the right reasons why they shouldn't do it.
Look, the edge rusher, I just don't know. I unless they're just anticipating injuries again, I just don't see a scenario where that guy plays. Because look, Eric Armstead is going to play on the edge on first down. Your interior rotation.
What if Bosa is on a pitch count, a snap count? I mean, he's first year back.
Even then, look at who's still just sitting there. It doesn't seem like he has much of a market. He's only had success with one defensive line coach.
Who?
Mr. Kerry Hyder. I could see him coming back.
Hey, if Jaquiski Tartt just signed a vet minimum, assuming deal, then maybe Kerry Hyder would too, because the dude's 30 and he's not going to get a ton of money from anywhere else, clearly.
I still have their mid-level exception. They didn't exercise it on maybe they used it on Tartt, but they didn't exercise it on DJ Jones. I thought they originally did. They have two of those. So
hey, if they sign Hyder, then they probably won't take a defensive end in round one. I don't know. Maybe they'll go offensive line in round one. It just seems like they usually go trenches top 15 if they're not. Usually go trenches top 15. So one of maybe a guard. I don't know.
It's to me, if you have a top 15 pick, you got to go one of the four premium positions. It's got to, and I rank them in this order: quarterback, edge rusher, tackle, corner. Okay, those are the four. If you have a top 15 pick and you're not taking one of those four positions, then I think it's a mistake.
Well, Kevin's saying take J.C. Horn at 12. I'm cool with that if you like corner. And then also you could take, if you really like Rashawn Slater, nothing against Mike McGlinchey, but you could take Slater and trade McGlinchey the way they took McGlinchey and traded Trent Brown. They can do that. They can do that.
Maybe. We'll see. I'm still a big proponent of don't take McGlinchey's fifth-year option and try to extend him now and have a starting right tackle for $5 to $7 million. I love that idea.
If we go into the draft without a backup quarterback, is that a surefire sign we're taking a quarterback in the draft?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I think they're going to draft a quarterback in this draft. It just depends on how high. Like, we could see them draft a quarterback in the 4th or 5th round. That guy, like, that's what I don't get. Like, people are like, don't take a quarterback in the 1st. Just get a guy in the 2nd. Get a guy in the 3rd. How many 2nd, 3rd round, 4th round quarterbacks actually end up being your starter or franchise quarterback? Like, people are like, Kyle can't draft quarterbacks because he drafted CJ Beathard. Like, yeah, he loves CJ Beathard, but I also don't think he thought CJ Beathard was going to be his franchise quarterback. Like, if the guy ends up being a competent backup quarterback, it's decent for you, because honestly, it's so finicky with these quarterbacks.
Daryl Hicks says, should the Niners trade back and accrue more day 2 picks and draft Gregory Rousseau? He's going to be a stud. Yeah, they only have really. I mean, if they could get more day 2 picks,
they don't do that though. They don't do that. They do the one single spot trade back where John Lynch is a genius because he's not going to draft that guy anyway. But then John Lynch made the draft pick, and Adam Peters didn't participate in that draft pick. Adam Peters only drafts the guys that end up being good in the late rounds. No, I'm just messing with people. No, I'm just joking. But actually, though, they're not a big trade back team.
No, they're not. It's like we have a guy, we have a target, we think we can trade down one spot and still get him.